Hello, and thank you for tuning in, RoseWardStampersDelight.com. So today I have another video of Celebration Sunday. Remember, Celebration, you get one free item with every $50 US or $100 US out of the new catalog, the new Celebration catalog. So if you remember, last week I did the berry blessings. And today what I'm going to do is I am going to use the Darling Donkeys. I'm just going to lower this so you can see better. There we go. I picked Darling Donkeys because I had done a card and a couple people asked me to show how you do the masking. So let's take this away. Put a piece of paper here. Okay. So the cards I did that I had posted a while ago, but again, I was asked to do this, so I aim to please. Here is the one card I did with the So Ombre, also free item, designer series paper with the matching envelope. And the one I was asked to show was the masking technique. So let me bring that up and you can see the three little donkeys there. And of course our designer series paper from the catalog, the big catalog, the annual catalog, which is where the doodads come from. If you watch me, you know I call everything doodads, so I don't have to remember everything. The antique corners, and of course the Expresso ribbon. So I'm going to show you how to do this card. Real quick, cute, easy card, but oh so cute. And again, remember, you can get this stamp set free with a $50 order if you don't have a demonstrator. I'd love to be your demonstrator, stampersdelight.com. There's my host code for January. If it's $150 or more, don't use the host code because you want to get the free rewards. Okay, so let's put this off to the side and let's get started. So for this card, you're going to need your card base, okay? Half a sheet of cardstock. You're going to need one sheet of white, which is the 4 by 5.5. Oh, 4 and 5 1/4, I do believe. Let me double check that. Yes, that's 4 by 5 1/4. These are our standard measurements, okay? 4 by 5.5. Then we're going to layer a piece of the designer series paper from the annual catalog, and that is 3 3/3 by 5. And then right on top of that, we're going to have another piece of the Whisper White, which now we have basic white. That's 3 by 4 1/4. All right. You're also going to need another piece of 4 by 5 1/4 for the inside. And we'll put that aside for a minute. Okay, so let me bring in my card. And I am going to take my paper trimmer and I am going to score that at 4 1/4. Give it a nice crisp edge. And then I'm going to start my layering. So again, I'm just going to fold that in half. I'll use my bone folder here. And then I'm going to layer a piece of the white on here, like I showed you. But before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and grab that designer series paper. And I am just going to layer that on there using my stamp and seal. Layering that right up on top here. And then I'm going to grab my ribbon. And I am just going to wrap a piece right around both of those. And the way I do it, once I see where I want it, or how long I want it, snip that off. Just going to put a little glue there to wrap that right around. And that's going to be layered right on top of my card base. So that part's done. Now I'm going to bring in that smaller piece of white, and I'm going to stamp. So here are my 3 stamps I'm going to use, the 3 Darling Donkeys. And I am going to start with this guy right here, the nice cute long one. And I'm going to use my Memento because I am going to be using my blends. But you can use your regular Stampin' Up! Markers, Stampin' Right markers, or you can use our watercolor pencils. So the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to position him right, or her, right here. Stamp that down. Then what I did was I stamped another one on a piece of white cardstock. You can use copy paper, but I like the cardstock because it's a little thicker. So you can see that I've used that before. I'm going to lay that right down, and you can use a Post-it note to keep it down if you'd like. So let me show you how you can do this with a Post-it note so it doesn't move. We can put that Post-it note right there. And then I'm going to bring in this donkey, the one that sits down. I'm going to do the same thing. And I am going to, you see the tail is going right over this piece right here, which is okay because we don't want to see the tail. We want it to look like it's lined up. Okay, so when I take this off, you see that now I have my donkey. I have the one that's sitting. It did cut off his tail, but that is the part of masking. So now I'm going to bring in this one again. And you can do layering with the masking as many times as you want. I'm going to grab another one that I made with the donkey with the tail. He's going to go right back here. Now I'm just going to move this down here. Okay. Now I'm going to get the one that's got his kicking up his heels. And I am just going to ink that up. I have a new setup here. So I am stamping, and it doesn't look like my table is moving that much. I do have to stretch my arms a little bit, but hopefully this will work out better. And you can angle him wherever you want. Okay, so let's put him right here. Okay. When you peel this off, now it looks like that donkey's in the back of the other 2. Let me bring that up closer so you can see it. And that is the art technique of masking. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to bring in some blends. I'm going to start with my dark smoky slate, and I'm just going to add some color here. This is a great technique that a lot of people forget about, but I absolutely love it. So I'm just going down. I'm just going to do some, I don't want a lot of color on him, I don't think. Maybe some up here, maybe a little dark in there. Okay, and the same thing with this one. I am going to just color around the edges. Maybe a little darker in the ears and the hair. Little tiny bit around here, little tiny bit around here. And we'll do the same thing with this one. You can use other colors. This is the smoky slate. You can use the gray granite. Another one I like is the crumb cake. Just adding some color there. Now, since I have the dark in my hands, I am going to go and do the hoofs all dark. No need to use the light color for those. Okay. And maybe a little bit dark in here. I'm going to come back in, and I am using the bullet side of my blend. And then I'm just going to blend that in. I do want to show you another little trick. Now, you may have seen this on one of my prior videos when I showcased another card. Okay, so I'm adding some light to this, but I still want to get some of this color off. I'm going to show you how to do that. We're going to go ahead and do this right here, right here. I usually like to swirl some color in there. I didn't do any dark on his face, but that's, he'll be a little different looking. There we go. All right. So I still have some harsh lines that I really don't want, and I want to lighten this up. So what I'm going to do is I am going to bring in my color lifter, and I'm going to soften those lines up. So the color lifter does take away some of the color, but if you make a mistake, but it also, if you just swirl it all the way around, it lifts some of that color up and blends it so well. You may not see it in the beginning. You do have to wait for it to dry, but it blends those harsh lines by lifting some of that color, which is what I want to do. And you may not see it, but it is working. There we go. You see how now it's blending it in, and it will take a few minutes to dry, but blend it. So again, color lifter is not just for lifting mistakes, it's for also blending some colors nicely together. All right, I think that's enough. All right, there we go. I'll let that sit. While that's sitting for a few minutes, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to grab my dark Rococo Rose, and just, I don't need to use both colors. I use blends a lot, but I also love my watercolor pencils and my Stampin' Right markers. So I'm just going to use the bullet end here. This is Just Jade. And there it is. There is my blending of my masked donkeys. I'm going to go ahead and I am going to grab Early Expresso. And I am going to use that for, I'm going to just drag this down a little bit. And I am going to grab Hee Haw. I love fonts like this because if it's a little crooked, nobody really notices. Hee Haw, It's Your Birthday. I'll leave that out for a minute. Now what I'm going to do is I am going to bring my card base in. Now I do it this way only because it's, for me it's easier. I'm going to go ahead and layer that right on top. Of that Designer Series paper, but I'm using my dimensionals because I want to add some dimension to that. And let's just pull these off. Not sure where my take your pick tool went. Oh, there it is. Okay. So I'm going to add that right on top here. And then what I'm going to do is I am going to add some of these corner pieces. So I need 4 of those. Now for this one, I am going to use Tombow because it does work better. I found that with the Tombow, for these little corner pieces, it's easier for me to just dab a little Tombow in each corner. You can put it on the back of these corners if you'd like. Let me see if I can get some. Oh, I've got to change that. Let's see if I can get some of this. There we go. And I am just going to set that right down. Same thing with this one. If you see a little of the glue come out where you see it's white, don't worry about that. It does dry clear. But the Tombow does hold these in place better than, let's say, if you tried to use your Stamp and Seal. The liquid glue works better. Okay, while that's drying, I'm going to go ahead and grab the inside of my card, which is the other piece of white cardstock. And it's your birthday. Let's see, you're the best. So let me grab You're the Best. And again, remember, this is all from the same stamp set that you can get free. We even got some little sparklies there. You're the Best. I'm going to go and grab one of the donkeys. It doesn't matter which one you use. I'm going to use this one. Whichever one you like. They're all cute. All three of them are adorable. I'm not going to put the whole one in there. I'm going to have them cut off a little bit. Close that up. Close these up. And again, I'm going to bring in some of my blends here. And again, I'm still using the smoky slate. Just going around the edges where I want it dark. I don't think I want too much on his face. This I'm going to keep dark. Those are his little hoofs. So again, this is the masking technique. Some of you have probably seen it. Some are new to stamping. I'm going to go ahead and color him all the way in. And since that body is a little bit bigger, I'll go ahead and use my brush end. And blend that up nicely. Add some more up here. Okay. Now these are probably still a little wet, but I'm going to go ahead and put the card together. And you can see that the blends does go through the cardstock. So you don't want to use blends if you are using something where you're going to open the card and see the back side of the paper. Put that right in there. This is still drying a little bit. So in the meantime, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab, whenever I cut my designer series paper down, I usually have like a strip of 2 by whatever it is, whatever the strip that's left over. I think this is 2 by 4. And I'm just going to put that on the edge. Now, normally you would want to cover the whole lip, but this is just an extra piece. So why not just cover that part of it? It works fine. And you have a matching envelope for your card. Just going to turn that way. And then I'm just going to trim this off. Now, a couple of things to remember. Masking technique, you can use copy paper. I prefer using cardstock, even if what you can do is just keep your scraps and use a scrap, because it is a little bit heavier, so it works a little better. That's my opinion. And there we have a matching envelope. And you can see there's a little white strip on this one, not so much on that one, but again, it's using up your scraps. And there you have the cute little card. And that is the masking technique. I hope you enjoyed this week's Celebration Sunday. If you'd like to place an order with me, go to stampersdelight.com. If you need a catalog, let me know. Remember, I'll be back live on YouTube Monday night, 7 p.m., Friday mornings, Facebook Live at 7 a.m. Until then, keep on stamping, Stampers. Bye.